welcome to another SARE National session. My name is Jenny Anchondo, and I'm here as your hostess for the event and moderator, really just sort of letting everybody in, making you feel welcome, and making sure that you get your questions answered. So this is actually part two in a two-part series. So if you missed last week's, today's will still be very valuable. Still stick with us, but just know that session number one is already out there. So let me tell you about our speaker today. She is Fabiola Mancillas, and she is a Latina who immigrated from Mexico to the United States 39 years ago. She has been an entrepreneur for the last 20 years as a franchise broker in the financial industry. So there are a few different groups that she focuses in on: investments, insurance, and mortgage lending. Now, her primary role throughout much of her career has been to train business-minded people in becoming brokers that can run their own financial agency or personal franchise. Now, she has an organization that's a part of the Business Builders School, and they are dedicated to empowering and promoting members to become successful entrepreneurs in the financial world. She really is a wealth of knowledge. We already learned so much from her last week. She also, on a personal note, happens to be a wife, a mother, and a grandmother. She loves spending time with her family, so it really is saying a lot that she's choosing to spend some time with us. So as we go on and as she speaks, again, I encourage you to type your questions in the chat. I'll be here listening right along with you, and I'll be taking my own notes, coming up with my own questions, but your questions are the important ones. Truly, truly they are. So I want you to be able to ask whatever it is that you would ask her if she was there in person. And without further ado, Fabiola, take it away, and I'll chat with you on the back end.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jenny. It's great to be back. And I just want to welcome everybody and just thank you for being here again. If you're back to the part two, welcome back. If you're here and just hearing part two, yeah, make sure and go back to the replay because I think you're going to get a lot from it. And anyway, our topic for today is a continuation of how to succeed in the new economy. And in reality, we covered part one was the economy. We were describing the economy, and now we're going to jump into what the new economy is, which there is a difference, guys. So before I jump into that, I just want to say again, congratulations for becoming a person, a better person every day. If you're business minded, if you already have a business going on, or you're looking into starting something, congratulations to that. It's really not where you're at, but where you are going. One of the things that I can add to my bio is that I used to be very, very shy. I spoke to no one. I was very afraid of people, of talking to people and thinking of people. So it was like, no, I am not in the people world. It took a lot of self-improvement, a lot of work, great mentors that I surrounded myself with to become the person that I am today. So again, don't overwhelm yourself of where you're at now. Always think of where you're headed. So always look into the future, visit your future, have a vision for your future. Look back into your dreams and really search deep down, how big those dreams are. It costs you nothing to dream. So make sure that you're always looking into that future. Also make sure that you're good with your attitude. We always have a positive, good attitude towards yourself, towards life, to your business, towards everybody around you. Having a good attitude is really what you can control. You can control two things, actually: your attitude and your activity. You cannot control anybody else's attitude or anybody else's activity. It really comes down to you being positive about you, about your future, about where you're headed. Because when you start pointing fingers at somebody and blaming somebody else, you got four fingers pointing right back at you. So it really comes down to having that good, positive attitude and good perspective about life. In addition, I would just say, never quit. Sometimes as businessmen and women, we go through challenges, we go through struggles, whatever they may be. It's hard, sometimes it may be difficult to keep going forward. So I would say don't quit, just recommit, right? Really go down to the reason and to the purpose of why you're here, why you're doing business. So the recommitment is really going to be essential, because success is really all in here. It's really all in our thoughts. Be cautious of your thoughts, because your thoughts do occupy mental real estate right in there. So be cautious of those thoughts. Those thoughts will become things. They will be manifested for everybody to see around you. So just be in the lookout for that. All right, guys. So again, I'm so excited to be here today. I am happy to share with you part 2 of this presentation, titled again, Empower Yourself and Succeed in the New Economy. So this is part 2. All right, so let's go straight to it. I'm actually going to do a recap of what we covered last time, so that if you're here only for part 2 and have missed the part 1, you'll be up to speed on what we'll be sharing today. So the economy is composed of 3 things. Number 1, all of the people making things, all of the people using things, all of the buying and selling of those things. So again, we covered that more in detail. We talked about the emotions that go with the ups and downs of the economy, the cycles of the economy. We talked a little about inflation, recession, the markets, and a lot of great stuff. So if you missed it, you should definitely go and check that replay. In addition, I'm going to give you an analogy of what the economy is to better understand it. So if you think of the economy as a plane, okay, the pilot represents the Fed, and then all the knobs to the plane represents the tools that the Fed may use to do a safe and smooth landing. So that's really how the economy works. It takes different people and with experience and knowledge about what's happening. So, we're hoping the Fed has enough knowledge and understanding of what they need to do, whether it be raise or lower interest rates or any other things that they have the power to do. And maybe, being lucky enough, they have a good sunny view where they can have a smooth landing with no interact or nothing interfering their way. And again, just having those tools available. So that would be an analogy to help you understand the economy. Okay, so now we jump into the new economy, okay? So what is that? Again, it's a buzzword to describe new high growth industries that are on the cutting edge of technology and are believed to be the driving force of economic growth and productivity. So I want you to notice the word technology. That is going to be a big word that we're going to be talking about today. So I know some of us are scared or a little bit old school when it comes to technology. Not to fear. We can all change and innovate if we have the willingness to do so. So I'm going to take a little bit of time to talk about automatization. And here are some examples that we'll be sharing today. So automation, what is that? Well, automation just describes a wide range of technologies that reduce human intervention in the process. So for example, GM, we all know who they are. The maximum number of employees that GM has had in their history is, and again, worldwide, is 618,000. Now, in present time, they only have 202,000. So imagine that, from 618,000, now they're down to 202,000. And why is that? Well, because there's other innovating companies over here like Tesla and Google that are rapidly going with the time and ages, and they're being, put on the side. If they don't hurry up and do something, it's going to be, very challenging for them. So that's one example. The other one you're looking at is Blockbuster. Most of you may remember, if you're in the seasoned age, you may remember Blockbuster and having your Blockbuster membership card and going out there physically to rent out a video, and you have that going on. Well, we don't have Blockbuster anymore. Well, why is that? Because there's Netflix, right? So at one point, Blockbuster had 60,000 employees, 60,000. Now we're down to practically none. Now we're looking at Netflix. So let's take a look at the last one, which is Kodak. All right, so let me share a little bit about the Kodak story, because I think their story and whatever situation they went through is going to help us with our businesses and the way we think about business and the way we approach the future. All right, so again, Kodak. Kodak was founded in the year 1888. You guys may know that. George Eastman, he was the founder, and it was the Eastman Kodak Company back in the day. It was the most famous name in the world of photography and videography in the 20th century. Kodak brought about a revolution in the photography and video industries. At the time when only huge companies could access the camera used for recording movies, Kodak enabled the availability of cameras to every household by producing equipment that was portable and affordable. Kodak was the most dominant company in its field for almost an entire 20th century, but a series of wrong decisions killed its success. The company declared itself bankrupt in 2012. So why did Kodak, the king of photography and videography, go bankrupt? Was it so what's the reason behind Kodak's failure? Why did Kodak fail despite being the biggest name of its time? Well, I'm going to share with you at least 3 reasons why that happened. Number 1 reason, the ignorance of new technology and not adapting to changing market needs initiated the Kodak's downfall. Okay, so that's reason number 1. Now, reason number 2, Kodak invested its funds in acquiring many small companies, therefore depleting the money it could have used to promote the sales of digital cameras. Okay, so that's reason number 2. Now let's take a look at the reason number 3. Kodak wasted time promoting the use of film cameras instead of emulating its competitors. It completely ignored the feedback from the media and the market. So when Kodak finally understood and started the sales and the production of the digital cameras, it was really too late. Many big companies had already established themselves in the market, so by then Kodak couldn't really keep up with the pace with the big shots. In September 2011, the stock prices of Kodak hit an all-time low of 54 cents per share. Therefore, Kodak declared their bankruptcy in 2012. So those are some of the reasons, guys. Now, for us, business startups or established businesses in today's time, this becomes a cautionary tale. The advancements of technology, as we know, are rapid and unforgiving, really. If you don't keep pace, you will be displaced, unfortunately. Kodak had plenty of warning. It took 30 years for an innovative new technology to take down the company. 30 years to be displaced almost sounds unfamiliar. The pace of change is only accelerating. This means that you have to compare your business vision to its environment frequently. Yeah, that's exactly what we need to do. So what you are looking for are signals. Are there better ways to fulfill your brand's vision than what your company is currently doing? If so, then all the alarms should be blaring. Yeah, that's exactly what should be happening. So these are the moments to reevaluate your business model, because a flawed business model can tear your company down, no matter how small or how big it is. They were pretty big, and they had been there for quite a bit, so there's no telling. Kodak's brand is still iconic. Unfortunately, the company's gone. We all know that. It had the wrong business model for the environment. All right, so technology empowers competitors to act. Instagram saw the opportunity to make sharing moments easy, and they took it. The Kodak moment lives on Instagram now, and we all know that. So those are the changing times for you. Things do change. And we may have forgotten the stories, we may have forgotten the brands and the names, but that's reality for you and for all of us. And it's just going to keep happening, possibly at a faster pace. So it really comes down to us being aware and really doing the right things for our businesses. All right, guys. So let's talk a little bit about innovating companies, because they all have to do with a new economy. Now, the names that you're looking at, I'm sure they're all very common to each of you, to all of us. But if you think about it, 20 years ago, we weren't in that scenario of jumping in a car with a stranger, right? Through Uber, shopping online due to e-commerce. We would just go to the store all the time, right? Airbnb, all that. We had no clue 20 years ago of what was happening. So nowadays, with Uber, Amazon, and Airbnb, what do they have in common? Well, two things. They are each a platform, and they use collaboration. So I will explain what I mean by that, okay? So keep that in mind. Uber. Okay, so how does Uber operate? Well, for one, think about this. How many cars does Uber own? They own 0 cars, right? They don't own any cars. But Uber provides the technology infrastructure, the clients, and the business administration for someone like you or just anybody else like me that wants to do Uber driving. Does that make sense? Yeah. So again, they have no drivers. It's all about collaboration. They use other people's resources. So what do I mean by that? Well, for example, if you want to be an Uber driver, you have your own car, you pay for your own car insurance, you pay for the maintenance of your car, you pay for your own gas money, and you provide your car, right? And I'm sorry, your time. So again, they have a system in place where you can collaborate with a group of people. You bring in the technology, you have the platform, and you're sharing the resources. Let's go into Amazon. So take a look at Amazon. They have everything you want to buy from them online through e-commerce. But when you ask yourself, how many stores does Amazon have? Can you physically go in and walk into an Amazon store? Well, no, right? You go online, you know what you're going to order, and you place the order, and then those products will end up in your front door. That's easy, that's simple, that's fast, that's convenient. And if you don't like your product, you can send it back. As easy as that. So again, they have a platform, and they have people that can utilize their platform to buy and sell. And people make money off of that platform as well. So we can move down into the last company that we have here, which is Airbnb. Look, I would have never imagined that I would go to a different country or a different city or state and end up at a stranger's house. I mean, that was just not not in my mind, years ago. Now, all of these things that we're sharing, they're just very common, right? We're used to it. It's just what it is. It's the norm. But again, same thing. Airbnb, they have all these properties that you can use, whether it be an apartment or a house or a building, whatever it may be. And they own none of it. They own none of the real estate that you can utilize. Again, they're a platform, and you can use their platform, and they collaborate with people that want to provide their property, and both in collaboration make money. So isn't that amazing? So again, we did not have this years ago. And if we were talking about this years ago, we would be like, what are you talking about? But today, again, it is very common. It's part of the world that we live in, and that's just what it is, right? Okay, so keep that in mind. Innovation is always very good, all right? So let's go ahead and talk about automation. Automation is happening all around us. Here's an example of a restaurant in Japan. They're starting to have their restaurants automated. They have no waiters, waitresses. They don't have a chef that has to do all the cooking. It's just automated. And you've probably seen a little bit of that here. Like for example, I've gone to some of the restaurants here where I have to punch in my own order, pay myself, and then I can go pick it up, or somebody can come bring it down to my table. Some franchises, you go in and you punch in your order and you pay there, and there you go. It's automation for you. So again, we're seeing a shift in the way business is done. So it does require change and innovation. So speaking of that, a business organization, this could be your business, this could be my business. Any business organization needs to constantly innovate to succeed. Innovation can include making things better, faster, or cheaper than your competition. It can also include improving your internal operations, such as how your teams communicate, or giving your sales team a new incentives. It drives ongoing improvements and may help unleash a new idea that changes the rules. And we're seeing a lot of that. Businesses need to approach innovation and change effectively and proactively, guys. So again, keep the Kodak story in mind, because that's exactly what we're going to use to fully understand how we can operate our business and how we can approach our future that is really right around the corner. So speaking of future, let's talk about Metaverse. Okay, so what is Metaverse? Some of you may have already known about that or heard or read about it. But what you may know is that Facebook changed their name to Meta. They're no longer Facebook. We still call it Facebook, but they're Meta. So it's all about Metaverse. So to understand Metaverse, let's take a look at the quote from Mark Zuckerberg to help us understand it. And this is what he says. I believe the Metaverse will be the successor to the mobile internet, where instead of just viewing content, you are in it and you feel present with other people as if you were in other places, having different experiences that you couldn't necessarily do on a 2D app or web page, like dancing, for example, or different types of fitness. So that's what he's talking about when it comes to Metaverse. So some of you may have already experienced that or may know of someone that has experienced it, but in reality, the Metaverse will be equally appealing to all genders. The Metaverse will transcend cultures and geographic borders. The Metaverse will be a home for people who want to play games, produce music, socialize, and more. Because there is a place in the Metaverse for everyone, it will be a locus of culture for generations to come, as well as an economic engine, guys. So big and small businesses can find a way to, whatever respective audience you're looking for, and enhance your digital identity. So again, that is metaverse for you. And in alignment with Metaverse, we learn a little bit about gaming. But before I go into the gaming, here's just an example of Metaverse and how you can be in it. So that's called augmented reality. There's going to be a time where you may be interacting with people in different parts of the world, but through the augmented reality, it means you just feel that they're right there in the room with you. So that's what we're going to be looking at. So again, in the same alignment with the Metaverse, there's gaming. You may have heard of gaming or may know some people that are doing gaming, but the reality is 67% of the population is doing gaming. I was astonished when I learned that 67%, 18 years of age and above, were in gaming. I'm like, really? But that's what it is. A lot of people are in that platform now. So some businesses and people are already taking advantage of this platform. For example, luxury fashion brand Louis Vuitton partnered with online video game League of Legends for a capsule collection. So they're already utilizing that to have, that market. In addition, you guys know of Nike, right? Well, the shoe brand Nike did a debut of their new Jordan sneakers in the online video game Fortnite. So there's two of them. In addition, pop star Ariana Grande performed a concert. Wow, a concert in Fortnite. So as you can see, guys, businesses and people can partner with video game brands to reach engaged audiences and promote their products in unique ways. So it's not that it will happen, it's already happening. People are already taking advantage of that. So speaking of taking advantage of that, we're going to switch over to Immerse Advertising, because there are companies that are doing this on a daily basis. So when we talk about Immerse Advertising, well, what does that mean? What happens? Well, Immerse Advertising, what it comes down to, is going to provide several advantages over the traditional advertising, like the passive banner ads that we're used to. There is actually a study that was published in May of 2021, and it was published in a research journal, and it confirmed that traditional ads with augmented reality ads enhances customer physiological responses and willingness to pay. So when you market these environments where consumers are already engaged in, and again, you want to know where people are engaged in, where people are involved, and what their interests are. So, for example, technology today for the new generations, that's a big thing. They're all about technology. So, there's some stores that when you go shopping, you don't have to go to a dressing room or try to, work the dress or the shirt in your body at that point. You just go to the wall, and there's a mirror-like computerized system over there. You pick the dress, or you punch in the options, and there you go. That's you in the dress. That's you in the shoes. That's you with the sunglasses. Whatever it may be, you can have the experience before you buy. So before you purchase, you already know how it would look, how it would possibly feel, and all that. So, there's Sephora, the makeup store, same thing. They have that technology already up and running. So all of this right now, it's up and running. This is not like it's going to happen. It's already happening. So again, you can try the makeup. You can see how you look with the makeup, the lipstick, the eyeshadow, anything. All that is already in place. Now, companies like IKEA, they also have the technology where you can, visualize and really see how your furniture is going to look in your living room or whatever room you want to put it in. You already know how it's going to look, how it's going to fit. Is it going to match? Is it going to work out? Before you buy it, before you do the shopping and the all the maneuvering of moving the furniture, you already know what's going on. So again, we call this immersed advertising, where people can have that experience, and just instead of just looking at it or having the idea or the thinking of what it's going to look like. So anyway, going back to the research, they stated that it makes it easier for the customer to naturally engage with your brand. So therefore, the metaverse signals a continued move to meet customers where they are on the devices they're using, the apps and the programs that they're already engaged in. So to reach targeted leads and customers, businesses can increase engagement through immersed meta experiences, just like we're talking about now. So as you can see, this is definitely a good time for forward-thinking businesses to get involved. All right, so that could be a good question. Is your business, is your product a forward-thinking business, a forward-thinking product? Because as the times change, we have to change with them. We want to be relevant to the times if we want to stay in business. We don't want to be another Kodak story where, yeah, we became comfortable, we were already successful, we had a market that utilized our product, and then all of a sudden, you fall asleep and somebody else is taking over. So again, guys, this is just to help us with our business and to anticipate in our future. What do we need to think about? Where do we need to focus our efforts? How can we start planning today? what needs to happen, right? So it really comes down to that anticipation of our future. Now let's talk a little bit about metaverse and socialization, because that's also important. Metaverse is not just, for you to promote a product or a business. Let's take a look at this quote. This is actually from Christian Perez. He is head of strategy at gaming specialist agency Waste. So he's saying, if you zoom out and look at the gaming behaviors of younger Gen Z players, there's a clear sign that gaming environments are social spaces first and foremost. They aren't channels that operate in a vacuum. They're cultural touch points where young people meet, compete, collaborate, and create. Now, I thought all these words were very significant based on everything that we've covered thus far. People want to meet other people, and it doesn't have to be in person, right? It doesn't have to be you being present in that room, but you can still meet people. And we see that a lot in social media nowadays, but all that is going to change. It's going to move to an even, bigger, different way. We may not like it, we may not want to embrace it, but we need to utilize it as a tool, not as a disadvantage. We can compete, right? We can compete with business products, with businesses, with just a lot of sports, all that. We can do that too. And the big word for me is collaboration. Remember when we were talking about the innovative companies like Uber and Amazon and Airbnb, they all had one thing in common, and that was collaboration, right? They had a platform that they're sharing with average individuals like you and me. And those average individuals bring their resources, right? Whether it be their time, their car, their home, their property, their skill. And it's a whole collaboration. It's a win-win for both of them. So again, we see that here when it comes to metaverse and socialization in metaverse. It's more than that. It's a place where you can be creative. It's a place where you can innovate and do a lot. So I thought those words were really crucial for us to understand what we're walking into, what we may experience here in the next few years. Or like I said, we're already experiencing that. Someone is anyway, and it's happening all around us. All right, so what I can recommend based on what I shared with you guys is, again, anticipate the future, be proactive, not reactive. Because again, when it's all here and we're surrounded by everyone being involved in metaverse, by everyone being immersed, and it's just part of their lives, and we're going to be like, wait a minute, how did this happen? How did I get here? It was like overnight. Well, be proactive, because you don't want to take it for granted. Like, you heard this information or you knew that it was happening and you didn't take the right approach to maybe doing more research about how you can be innovative, maybe collaborating with other businesses or business partners, how you can listen to other people that are already experiencing some of that. So again, it's just taking basic steps of awareness to know how to make those changes when needed. And here's another quote for you. It says, the future depends on what we do in the present. So yeah, it really comes down to that. Whatever we're doing right now is going to impact our future. And it's already doing that for us. And we talked about planting a tree last time. The best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. So the best time to see the future that you want is by doing the things that you need to do today. And maybe just being aware is the first step, right? Being aware of what's happening, being a little bit more intentional about what you research, about what you do and how you do it. And honestly, just being open to technology, embracing technology, because Yes, we can all have that fear of technology, not understanding how it works, not understanding how it operates, and how to really, take full advantage of it. I know I was very afraid and scared of technology, but I'm learning that I have to embrace, I have to change. In order for things to change, I have to change, right? So it really comes down to me changing first and having that different perspective about the future and what I need to do about the future. So yes, anticipate the future. The metaverse is in its early stages. So keeping a close eye on developments and trends can help you stay ahead of the competition. So again, that's just information to help you understand what may be happening. And I believe I'm about completed here. The only thing I need to say is, just tell you how important it is that we change, how important it is that we innovate. Again, we have the Kodak story as an example, and we could share a lot more stories, guys. There's many more that have, you know, become extinct. Other companies and businesses are no longer with us because of that one thing. They did not change. They did not innovate. And when I think about change and innovation, I think about a rotary phone. I don't want to stay at a rotary phone. It's no longer usable. It's no longer productive. It's no longer going to do what it needs to do. Now we can use, a mobile phone. And it's not just a phone, right? It can do so many things. You guys remember having a dictionary? Well, now you have a dictionary and more. You have Google, you have Siri, you have everything. You have your personal assistant through a phone. Uh, you know, a map. You no longer need to have a map, a physical map. You have Google Maps, right? Everything, almost anything you can think of is right at your fingertips through a palm held device. Isn't that amazing? And then now things may change a lot more where we're going to be using, a special kind of glasses that we can use the technology with, a special kind of watch that we can have in our hand that we can use the technology with. So again, transition is happening as we speak. Are we making the transition with that new technology that is already up and running? And that's really what it comes down to. So I will want to share my contact information again, guys. It's always great for me to receive an email if you like what you heard or if you learned something new, if this was something valuable, let me know. And follow me on Facebook or Instagram. I would, like to make friends and grow those relationships. It's always a great thing for me. I am now better, way, way better with people and socializing with people. And I actually love meeting new friends. That was not me before, as you heard at the beginning, but now I am all about people. So anyway, have that information and we can definitely connect through there. And I believe I finished a little bit early, Jenny. So this may be a time for you to ask any questions or make any comments. So I'll give it to you at this point.
Awesome. That was so great. And I love that you shared that, that you weren't always this way and that you've been able to evolve because I think sometimes we assume, oh, that person that does technology, they've always been good at technology. They've always been good at it. I can't do it. They went to school for it. They had a computer growing up, any number of excuses or things like that. So I love that you point out that it's been an evolution for you as well. And I did try out your QR code for your Instagram. If you guys were wondering why I was putting my phone up to the screen, I was checking it out to get to your Instagram account. And I love that you are so ahead of the game and you have a QR code for your Instagram. I think that is super cool. So yeah, we've got some time for questions, you guys. So any questions that you have, put them in the chat for the few of you that did put down questions. I took notes on those, and so we'll run through those. And I'm going to start with this. Can you recommend a website, a blog, or a platform that helps people stay on top of future technologies? Does anything come to mind with that, Fabiola?
That's a great question. And you know what? There's so many of them. I don't have a specific one. I cannot pinpoint just one of them. But hey, like we said, on our phones, we got Google, right? So we can do all the research. We got YouTube. look, guys, education is at a different level now. Anything you want to know of, anything you want to explore, it's right all in your fingertips. It's all now available. A lot of the education that you can get on a 4-year career, I believe you can get just on your own, just go in and do your own study, do your own research. So I would just say to the person that asked that question, I mean, just whatever question you have, just put it in, and if you just put in metaverse, it's going to give you a bunch of options. Choose the one that catches your attention and start from there. Uh, and then you may find one that you specifically like, and then you can start following them and can start, getting more information from that platform. So I hope that helps you because there's so many resources that you can pull from and learn. So just, take the time to find out which one you're going to like and go with that.
Absolutely. Great advice. Google. Everybody's got Google.
Yeah.
Everybody's got it on their
Yes.
computer, wherever you're watching from. What do you say to somebody who is too afraid to evolve when it comes to technology and they think, well, I'm going to let the other guys get out there first. I'm going to stay where I am.
Yeah, I would say hurry up and don't be afraid because that would be a big challenge for you later. And I'll tell you my experience. I touched on it a little bit last time, but I was not used to technology before the pandemic. I relied upon on somebody else's knowledge. I relied upon, just having a system that already didn't require much of it. So I was just comfortable, because I was just like a Kodak. Things are going well for me. I'm making money. My business is doing well, and I don't need to worry about anything else. But guess what happened? A pandemic, right? So we didn't go to our office or offices. We didn't have access to in-person meetings like I used to have. A lot of the things changed. And the way I run my business was a lot of in-person and doing conferences and meetings and trainings and, just being in front of people all the time. So I didn't know how to operate any of this stuff the way I do now. So I was forced to get into technology. And because I was forced, I took that challenge because I had no other option. That's what it comes down to. I had no other option. But to be really honest with you, if I had embraced technology much sooner than that, if I had taken the time to just maybe research about it or even ask other business partners in my field how they were embracing technology, how it was working out for them, because now I know that it was. Now I know that they were having great results with it. And I wasn't. I was just ignorant to the fact that I could take more advantage of technology. So I would just say, don't be afraid. Take those little steps. Just like when you go and put your feet in the cold water, put that one toe first and then have a feeling for it and then put all your foot in there and then you keep immersing and keep going and going deeper in it. So just take it a step at a time, take it a day at a time, and every day you're going to be learning something new, and you're going to feel very proud of yourself, and it's going to make you feel good, and it's going to make you go to new, bigger levels. So that's what I would say, because I know that's what I have experienced already.
Beautifully said. Now, another question here, and as it relates to the previous question, they were asking about websites, blogs, or platforms. I like Wired. I work in media, and we get a lot of articles and stuff from Wired. They have a lot of legitimate sources and stuff. So WIRED, if anybody's looking for that with regard to keeping ahead of technology. Sometimes it's over my head, I will admit, but the article explains it, so it's enjoyable. Okay, another good question here from the group. They're asking, can you give a brief opinion on the older generation's ability to adapt to this ever-growing change? The pace is hard to connect with. So they're asking your opinion on the older generation's ability to adapt to the change when it comes to technology, I think.
Yeah, well, remember, if you're um, like a baby boomer or a different generation, it may be harder for you to embrace technology because we weren't using technology as we use it today. So I think our brains weren't wired the same way the younger generation is wired today. And I'll give you an example. I have younger nieces and nephews. I have grandkids that they can work the phone without even having to do any research about it, without having to go through a class about it. So it's just like in their instinct, having it right in front of them. So I would say exposure is going to help somebody because that's really what it is. The new generation has exposure. The older generations, we didn't have exposure. All we had was a TV and radio, and you would still have to turn the knob and physically stand up and do whatever you need to do, right? That was way back in the day. But now, because of the massive exposure of technology, the new generations just wake up and are already living in it. So to answer your question, again, if you just get more exposure to technology, again, just take it a step at a time. Don't fully go in there because it can also be very distracting. I also want to clarify that you can spend hours and hours trying to figure something out and then have no productive results for your day or for your business. So you don't really want to overwhelm yourself with it. Take it a little bit at a time because, yeah, it could become disruptive. It may not give you the profits that you're looking for because instead of benefiting from the research, it's taking your profits away because you're spending too much time in it. So you may want to talk to a person that's already experienced in technology. You may need to hire somebody that can teach you the basics of what you need to know. And then once you start and once you have that exposure, I believe you'll automatically and naturally become much better at it. And again, I tell you from experience, that's what happened to me and is happening to me still, because I'm not all there yet. And hey, speaking of the answer that you gave us, Jenny, again, Wire, I'm going to look into that because it's really all about collaboration. See, everything we're talking about here is collaboration. If I don't know, she knows. So we all collaborate because it helps me, it helps her. We all grow and become better. We have a better society, better competition. The competition makes us all better. So thank you for that.
Totally agree. We've got to just like be here for each other, right? We got a question from somebody. Well, first of all, I should ask Fabiola, are you involved in chambers of commerce? Have you done work with chambers before or been connected with them before?
Great question, guys, because we are in a culture that if you have a business, you usually have to collaborate with other people and you have to have a certain level of social skills. So the answer is yes. And I do suggest that you become involved in your community, whether it be a chamber or a group of businessmen and women that you find that already has a group going, they're already established, or you may even want to start your own group. Again, because of collaboration, we always learn from each other. Um, I show up to those meetings at the chamber that I connect with. I love the people that are there. The president, Mary, she is unbelievable. I think she's actually spoken here before on this panel. And I love it because I get to learn and see somebody else's perspective of business and life. I get to socialize with them. I get to use my skills, right? So it may be just how to introduce myself, how to network. All those are great for your business. So I do recommend that you become involved. It's going to help you grow as a person and take your business to the next level. I do want to say at the beginning, if you're not used to that, you may feel uncomfortable. I know that happened to me the first time I showed up to a meeting or a business event years and years ago. And I was so afraid of going back. I didn't go back. So don't do that, okay? It's okay to feel uncomfortable. It's okay to feel a little bit of a stranger when you first show up. But it really comes down to you self-improving with your social skills and just, taking the first step to introduce yourself, to meet the people around you and feel comfortable. with just meeting new people. So I hope that helps you.
Thank you for admitting that you get nervous at those events. I also get nervous at those events, and it's just there's like no getting around it because you're gonna walk in on your own. It's not like a party where you walk in like with a partner or a spouse or a friend. It's just you're walking in on your own and it can be really intimidating, but just know everybody else is alone too, right? It's like when you see a bear, they're more scared of you than you are of it, you know? We're getting a response from somebody saying, "This baby boomer says thank you." Um, so, Fabiola, what do you say to people who are, maybe they have a company and they know they need to expand upon their technology, but it's expensive and they're not sure, well, if I invest in this technology, is there going to be another technology that comes by in a year or two and then I'm going to have to upgrade again? And, how do I get ahead with all these different, new technologies coming up? What's the decision-making process for that?
Yeah, that's a great question, by the way. I would not make the move. Remember, if it was something expensive, I would, me personally, okay, this could be, I'm not a big, huge risk taker. I do take risks and they're needed when you are a business owner, but I would take it step by step. I would go gradually. So I would start small or slow. And then as I became better and as I became a pro at it, I would definitely go to the bigger investments when it came down to technology. But I would just start slow, maybe just start with collaboration. I bring that word a lot because it is part of the new economy. We've seen it through the innovating companies. They do it and they become very successful. So we need to be like them. We can collaborate and find out, just through friendships and through exploring with other opportunities out there. What are they doing? How is it working for them? So if it's gotten them to a better level of success, maybe that's a good sign that I need to start big. Or no, maybe it's not a good time for me to start big. I need to start slower because I'm not at the same level that they're at when it comes to their size of employees, or maybe the profits aren't the same. So it really comes down to asking the right questions. And when you ask those questions, you will get those answers. We talked a little bit about that. Your subconscious is going to help you and bring the solution, bring the answers that you need. And I would just take it step by step and eventually do the bigger investments later when I feel more comfortable and when I have embraced the other minor steps that I took.
Do you think that a business can operate without a website in 2022?
It could, but I don't recommend that you do because there's people that are way ahead of us and they're wanting it, they're looking for it, and they feel comfortable with it. So some people in the newer age that we're in, that's really what they're all about, and they really want to know you before they even talk to you. So that may be a good, a good thing for you to have. It's really not for you. It's for the people that want to know about you, for people to find you more easily and can have a picture of what you're all about. And they may already be ready to do business with you even before you have that in person or that phone call, conversation. So I think it's important. It may not work the way or give you the results that you want right away. But I think it's just a necessity for you to have for the people that are looking for it. So yeah.
Very, very helpful. And people are saying thank you for talking compassionately when it comes to addressing senior citizens and talking about technology. They're really giving you kudos for that. So thank you. Before we go, I want to wrap up with this question. You are somebody who is very, very busy, both with, family duties and work duties and things like this. Can you take us through your day, your schedule? Like when you wake up, how you prep? I mean, are you reading something in the morning? Are you checking your emails? Are you doing phone calls? When do you go into the office? Do you take breaks for lunch? Like, are you online a lot? Take us through the Fabiola schedule so we have a sense of how you organize and coordinate your own day.
Wow, that's a great question. And I'm glad you asked that because as business women or as businessmen, we tend to uh, take for granted our time, our very, very valuable time. You know, if we have a job, or when we had a job, we would show up at the time that they told us. We would do what they tell us to do, and we would leave at the time they would tell us to leave. And we would ask permission for a lot of the things that we needed to do. And we operated that way, and we were okay with it. Well, now when we are in business for ourselves, we take that for granted, and we don't have anybody else or no one telling us at what time we need to wake up. We don't have anybody telling us, hey, you need to go to your office and do the things that you need to do. You know, we don't have any of that. You're the one, you're the boss now, and sometimes you're very reluctant about what you need to do during the day because you just feel, oh, you know, it's so beautiful. I have all day. I'm my own boss. I'm just gonna, you know, do whatever I want. So we don't take into consideration having an agenda. So having an agenda is so crucial when you're in business. Very, very crucial. And let me tell you why. So let's say that, you know, you're working from home with, it may be a small business that you're operating from home, or even, you know, a business that you can open and close at whatever time that you're able to, or that you want to, because some, you know, some business owners have that flexibility, right? Or maybe you're operating online. Whatever it may be, we have a certain level of freedom. So what happens is when we go into business for ourselves, we may have other people around us. It may be our kids, it may be our spouses, it may be our cat and our dog. It could be anybody, guys. You know, it could be somebody ringing our doorbell. And because we can, and we have the time, and we don't have somebody breathing down our neck, watching us like a hawk, like you have to do that job, we have that freedom to do anything else that could distract us from from being productive, right? So we must have an agenda. We must prep our day, our week, and our months. And then once we do that, we must come back and verify our progress. So we must be accountable of all the things that we did or we didn't do. So yes, having a calendar, having an agenda, putting everything that you need to do that needs to get accomplished needs to be put on that calendar. You need to be, you know, whatever it may be, whatever your business requires, it has to be there. Whatever hours you already anticipated that you needed to put in, well, they need to be blocked away. Just like when you were at the job, you know, you blocked that hour, those hours, 8 hours, 10 hours, they were blocked. If somebody from your family called you and said, hey, I need for you to please take me to the airport right now, you're gonna say, hey, hold on, wait up. I need to call you back. Okay, I'm at work. People don't do that when you're at the job. They don't call you and say, hey, take me to the grocery store and let's go shopping right now. And let's just go and, you know, do some traveling right now. Well, there's nobody out there. You know, you don't do that. So you must take full responsibility of your time because there's nobody else managing the time for you. So again, one of the things that I do to, you know, to help you with the question, again, having an agenda. So since I'm part of a business builder school, like Jenny mentioned at the beginning in my bio, that school has already blocked the times that I need to be a part of. So there's nothing that is going to deviate me from those hours. So you know, that's my priority in business. And in my family, I also have the time that I need to be with my family. So it could be the time that I spend in church, the dinner time, or the, you know, the devotional time. You know, I already have those blocked. So it's not like, am I going to be able to do it today? Or, hey,
Right.
I need help with this. Can you help me at this time of day and hour? Well, I'm going to say, oh, you know, I'm sorry, I already have that time booked. I don't have that space available anymore. But what if we do it at this certain time and day? So again, you have to really take control of your business, because if not, other people are going to take control over it and run all over it because you're not making that decision. So,
So true.
I mean, I have to have that agenda.
So true. Fabiola, I could keep talking to you all this time, but look, we've gotten to 3 o'clock and we have made it here. We have used up all of our time. Thank you so much for the beautiful
Thank
presentation
you.
today. Thank you to everybody for coming. And I want to remind you in the chat, there is a link to all of Sarah's events. And you can see part one of this. If you want to watch part one and then part two, and this one, if you want to send it to a friend or a family member, if you want to watch the replay, it will be up by next Wednesday. You all have a beautiful rest of your week, and I'll see you next Thursday. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye, everybody.